Oh, sorry, I can't be there this week.
Do you like the PlayStation? Because I like the PlayStation. Welcome to Three Pints and a Clean Sheet. This is episode 55.
The Staunch
Um,
edition.
Yes, the Super Staunch edition, because Mr. Robert is not here this week. He is busy recovering after...
On the sickie.
Yes, he's on the sickie. According to Rishi, he'll have to engage in some new work soon. Otherwise, he's going to lose all his benefits. So I might dock him some predictions points if he doesn't come back.
Suits me. Can sing catch up.
All well and good. Get well soon, Robert.
Speed.
Yes, what he said. Does that mean it's time to end? That you said that way?
Yes. Bye.
So the international break has finished, and Scotland have finished second in Group A, which is one place higher than where I thought they'd finish.
It was a good finish. Wasn't to be expected.
It means we are on the plane to Germany. We've already recorded our reaction to that happening, but we have solidified our place after a draw in Tbilisi against Georgia last Thursday night.
Luckily.
What did you think of that game, Kyle?
I've never seen it, but I've seen it was like last minute, last gasp.
It was very last gasp. There was quite a lot of added time added on, mainly because every time a Georgian player seemed to go near someone, he seemed to be shot by a sniper in the crowd and hold his face, regardless of which part of the body anyone touched. Your classic European football there, really. Pretty embarrassing from Georgia. And then Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, the Napoli BAM. I'm going for BAM. Said that Scotland weren't that good and that we'd see them at the Euros.
Have they got a spot in the qualifiers?
They've got a playoff spot, so they'll have to try and get there first. We've managed to get there. I think they're still just a bit upset about the rain at Hampden.
Just the tears. That's Rodri tears.
Yeah, Rodri and Kvaratskhelia, but we seem to be winding up some quite good players. Erling Haaland doesn't seem to have been phased by us, sadly.
He never played, so he must have been feared.
That is true. He was so feared he didn't even start.
When he was waiting to hurt himself just to not play.
Yeah, I think Georgia were not amazing. Neither were we. I think both these games, we'll go on to the Norway one in a minute, both these games have exposed some flaws in the Scotland squad, shall we say.
Or more squad depth, I would say.
The depth, yes. The defence and especially the goalkeeper
goalkeeper's a worry.
Looked poor. The goalkeeping is quite a big worry. But we have got through. We've conceded 8 goals in 8 games. That's an average of 1 a game. Considering we conceded 5 of those in 2 games, I wouldn't be overly worried about that.
It was 7-3, wasn't it? Because Spain put 2 past us.
Yes, Spain put 2 past us as well. So 7 in 3 games. That's a worry. What's also a worry is we've now not won in 5.
And Spain, England, France. Can't even one of them.
Georgia, Norway.
Yeah, they were draws at the end of the day. So.
They were, but they're also notably not wins. Yes, Scotland. It was a good goal from Shankland. Keeper gets a hand on it. Should he be on the plane to Germany?
Yeah, he's a good option off the bench, if not to start.
If not to start, he can't be any the front line is probably the weakest part of our squad.
Dykes is good news, David. Bar that is pretty hopeless.
So I said this. I don't overly rate Dykes. We had a debate at the Norway game. I don't overly rate Dykes, but he has done a good job in a Scotland shirt when asked to.
He's an outball for a lot of good long hoof.
And he scored a lot of important goals. Personally, I would like to see us in games that I feel we can win start with 2 up top. So instead of having that kind of 5 in midfield, take out, for example, Christie and have Dykes and Shankland up front and see how that goes. I know Clark perhaps is quite happy with the system.
If it works, don't fix it.
But we're maybe at the stage where it needs a thinker now. We've not won in 5.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the heads weren't on properly because they'd already qualified, so holiday mode. Yes,
holiday mode. And I think it is holiday mode again on Sunday night against Norway. Did you see that one, Kyle?
No, I don't have iPlayer, so can you see it?
You don't have Viaplay, so you couldn't say. So I'm going to have to talk through the game.
You have to do all the speaking for this.
Great. I think it exposed some frailties in the Scotland squad, really. Again, pretty much every single Norway goal was scored down the left-hand side, where Greg Taylor started at left-back in a back four.
He's not going to Germany.
He better not, but I bet you he will.
I think we could do a better job at left-back.
Got to remember that the squad size is reducing for the Euros this summer from 26 to 23, back to kind of how it was pre-COVID. And I think left back we have covered. We've got Tierney and Robertson, and then we've got Hickey who can play over there as well.
And there's somebody else, Josh Doig, if he comes into his own as well.
Josh Doig has
green. Only
a couple of minutes against.
He's a bit green.
Is that referring to his Hibs past?
No, just he's not played.
Yeah. We've got some frailties when it's not Tierney and Robertson, as any team would, because Tierney and Robertson are two world-class left-backs and Greg Taylor isn't.
And he's probably the best.
Xander Clark probably liable for the third, at least, as well. There was some shouts in the crowd at Hampden. Xander Clark appeared to be glued to his line for most of the game and refused to come out. We miss Angus Gunn. Again, he's someone who, in the games he's played, hasn't done anything fantastic, like perhaps Craig Gordon and Marshall before him.
But he's done the basics.
He's done the basics well, and he's saved us from some goals.
Reliable. Not amazing, but reliable.
The question is, if Gordon is fit, you'd imagine Gordon will go to the Euros. Does he start?
No.
No?
I would keep Gunn.
You'd keep Gunn?
Just for the sheer fact of Gordon's not played much.
Yes. I would say it was a experimental Norway side as well. Oscar Bob, the Manchester City youngster, caused us significant amount of problems. It was apparent after about 5 minutes that he wanted to cut in on his left foot, and yet no one stopped him repeatedly.
He seems a good player as well, though.
He does. Norway will qualify for the tournament. It's now been longer, so the gap between 1998 and 2021 or 2020 was Scotland's drought. Norway now have a longer drought than Scotland.
They've really became a good team in the last few years with the likes of Haaland and Odegaard and the rest. Yes. Scudetto winner Leo Østegård, who scored the own goal, I believe. Did he not score a goal as well, or have I made that up?
I can't remember which one it was.
If you bear with me, I'll check. But you continue talking about the rest.
Well, I'll continue talking about the rest. It was poor, Scotland again. 3-2 up, Armstrong scoring after not doing very much. Stuart Armstrong and Glennie McLean, of course, started that game. McLean was absent. Armstrong wasn't absent, but he also didn't do anything good until he scored, and then I had to eat my words. It was a nice bit of play.
I think I've seen it. I've seen one of the goals actually. I've seen a highlight or something of one of the goals, maybe his goal.
Yeah, it was a nice finish into the bottom corner, and Scotland, Scotland 3, Norway 3 was probably a fair result. A draw was probably fair. I said if we went out and lost that game, I think that also would have been a fair result. Yeah,
Jacob Brown as well, so he's not really a starter, but he got a run a bit for City.
That's the other thing. So is Brown, to clarify, Østegård scored the own goal.
I was wrong. He didn't score a goal.
To go back to that, Jacob Brown probably shouldn't go on the plane, but I bet you he does.
Is he? I've never seen him play, so I can't comment on him. But
he's a different type of striker again.
He's not like a hold-up.
No, he seems to be one who can run in behind, which is good because we missed that kind of dynamism to our game. But also, it didn't really work. He ended up in the channels not doing very much. He was very close to getting himself booked. He dived into a few challenges. I thought the cameo Shankland had before against Georgia was a better fit for our system and a better display than what Jacob Brown showed.
Well, I've got the impression that Brown's not very good in a Scotland shirt.
You've also got Nisbet, who's yet to come back.
He was alright when I've seen him play for Scotland against Holland. many moons ago.
I mean, that's the question. I think the BBC said this week there's maybe a goalkeeper to go. You're probably taking Gunn. Gordon, thank you. I was completely stuttering over Craig Gordon's name. I don't know why. And one other.
Probably Kelly.
Kelly, who didn't play. You'd have thought if he was planning to take Kelly, he would have. He would have played Liam Kelly in one of those two games, and not Xander Clark. So it might be Xander Clark who goes. Depends. There's also rumours that Rangers are planning to sell Jack Butland in January and play Robbie McCrory for the rest of the season. I can't decide if that's someone taking the mick on Twitter, and I believe that. But if that is true and Robbie McCrory has a run of games and does really well, then he can get a place on the plane too. That third goalkeeper slot is quite open.
Mm-hmm. But they won't play anyway, so it's kind of... They might play in a throwaway game, but they're not likely to play...
They're not likely to play that third keeper, no.
No.
And if they're not, then there's an argument for taking someone younger.
Or an outfielder who might need...
You need to take three keepers.
Oh, do you? I don't know that. Didn't know you had rules.
Yeah, you've got to take three keepers and that's it.
Well, you may as well take bloody Gordon Bottle then. Who isn't Scottish, but...
Canadian. Swiss?
So he is Swiss, but he's like Swiss American, Italian, Finnish.
Scottish.
He's everything. He's
no finished, he's only 28.
He is Mr. Worldwide.
I like her just ignoring that part.
Yeah, I am.
That was a good Scotland goalkeepers though. There's that kind of defensive. I think the starting five, if we play a five, is probably well known.
It's the same when we played kind of in the bigger important games.
Exactly, and that midfield three of McTominay, McGinn, and McGregor is probably not going anywhere anytime soon. Question is, do you put a fourth one in there? Do you bring in a Billy Gilmore who looked really good when he came on?
Well, McTominay's got to score goals. I was playing maybe a little bit more attacking.
Exactly. Do you play that? Do you play that four and then play Dykes on his own? Do you play Adams on his own? What do you do?
Well, and Aaron, that's what he's got some friendlies to try and work this out for.
Yes, if you have, there are rumours. Does Ben Doak get a wild card? Does he end up in the squad? I'm going for probably not. I don't think Steve Clark's the type of manager who'd just take Ben Doak. If Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes become...
They shouldn't, because they've just climbed on this bandwagon.
Yes, they'd be climbing on the bandwagon. However, Anthony Gordon will be excellent. Anthony Gordon will get England caps, and quite a few of them at some point.
If he plays for England.
If he decides to play for England. If not, he can come and play up front for us. But again, he's probably not the right type of striker for us.
Maybe a winger, because he's quite quick and nimble.
But we don't really play with wingers.
A wide midfielder.
That's the problem with Barnes as well. We could take Barnes, but we don't really play with wingers, so what's the point? The one that I would want is Elliot Anderson, who seems to have...
England.
So he doesn't sneak in again, and he can sod off.
If he wants England, he can...
Yes, he can. So, there are questions for Clark. As you say, we'll have some friendlies. I think we said the other night, we'd quite like a decent team and a Diddy team. Or not a Diddy team, but a game we'll win and a game to push ourselves.
Yeah, like a France again, but maybe not France.
Maybe not France. We've got March to do that. You'd imagine it might be someone who's qualified.
In Italy, maybe. I'll take to see Italy, see how we do against them.
I think it largely depends on the draw. If we're scheduled to get them in the groups, we're obviously not going to have a friendly against them. The one team we probably shouldn't play is San Marino, because they've scored in each of their last 3 matches, and they're due to finally beat someone soon, and it would probably end up being us.
It would be us, it's our luck.
They almost got a point against Denmark, not this international break, but the one before, and they scored in both their games this break.
Them getting better.
They are getting better. It's proof that the Nations League works.
Yeah.
Looking at the draw, which happens at the start of December, we've got the pots here. Scotland are in pot 3, along with the Netherlands, Croatia, Slovenia, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic. And my initial reaction is, thank God we're there, because I don't fancy playing many of those teams.
They're the teams that would give us some right bloody bother.
Yes, well, the Czech Republic and Croatia did at the last Euros.
Pot 2 is a bit of a doddle. Some easy teams in that.
There is and there isn't. So if we go through the pots, so best case scenario for Scotland, I think based on rankings, someone said, is likely to be Germany, Albania, who won their group, and whoever wins playoff C, which Scotland's coefficient is forecast to be Georgia. The 4 teams in playoff C are Georgia, Greece, Kazakhstan, and Luxembourg. It would be great to see Georgia at their first Euros, despite the fact they hate us. It would be good to rekindle that beef. Luxembourg at their first Euros would be great, though I think that's a side we should and would beat. Kazakhstan, I don't want to, Scotland away in Kazakhstan. Let's not remind ourselves.
4-3-0, whatever it was back in the Alex McLeish days.
Yes. Is that not what got him sacked?
I think so. That was his first game. It was something like
that. It was dreadful. And then Greece, former Euro winners, not quite what they used to be.
France last night, though.
They did draw with France, but France are probably on their holidays.
Yeah, definitely. After pumping Gibraltar.
So yes, we've got that. That's the group you would want. The probable group of death is probably what? England, Denmark, and Italy.
Maybe Hungary. Hungary are a dark horse, I think.
Hungary are a dark horse. So yeah, pot 1, the options being Germany, Portugal, France, Spain, Belgium, England. Well, we work through those. So Germany. I'd take Germany tomorrow.
I'll take Germany and Belgium. They're the 2 I would want.
They're the 2 I would want. I'd take Germany in an absolute heartbeat. Germany, who got beat by Austria and Turkey in this international break.
Kai Havertz is left back, so it's okay.
The problem being that they are the hosts, and that might make a bit of a difference, and I'm not particularly up for that. Portugal, perfect record in qualifying, don't want. France, see what they did against Gibraltar and against us, don't want. Spain, we can beat Spain, but I don't want them.
I won't try to do it again.
Belgium, wouldn't mind, unbeaten in qualifying, drew with Austria and Sweden. Only conceded 4 goals in 8 games.
It
was a lot worse.
Lesser group, you could argue. Lesser teams.
Yeah. Lesser teams. Sweden still not the world's worst outfit. And then England, I'd just rather avoid completely, to be honest.
Probably one of the favourites, so I'd rather let somebody else deal with them.
One of the favourites, and also the game becomes so emotionally charged that we stop focusing on the football and start focusing on the rivalry.
Yeah.
And I'd rather get out the group than do all right against England.
We did that last time out. Got a good 0-0 draw, win.
And then didn't get out of the group because we lost the other 2 games. Pot 2 looks nice on paper, but I'm not convinced it is.
Oh, your dark horse, isn't it?
Yes. So Hungary are currently on a 15-match unbeaten run, I believe. And Romania are on an 11-match unbeaten run, which is a shame because Romania are the ones you go, I want to face them.
Yeah, I want Albania.
Romania went unbeaten in qualifying.
I don't know any other players, so...
I don't know any other players either, but it doesn't mean they're not a good team. They're one of those teams that are bigger than some other parts. Albania topped their group on head-to-head. Again, only conceded 4 goals, but again, perhaps not the world's best group.
Denmark, they had a bit of a rocky time, didn't they? They struggled for some teams. Sam Marino just had
22 points, yeah.
I thought they were struggling.
San Marino 2-1. They only beat Northern Ireland 1-0. They played 7, drew 1 and lost 2.
Not amazing. It's not exactly brilliant.
It's not. Turkey, of course, won their group with Wales and Croatia in it. 2 teams. Wales definitely aren't what they once were. Turkey, I think, beat Croatia one of those times. So, again, could be a lot worse, but could be a lot better. I don't fancy playing them.
No.
But we've proven we can beat Denmark and Austria. We beat them
last time out.
Yeah, like Euro qualifiers.
I think.
But again, are they a team you really want? Probably not. Pot 4, we need playoff C. Pot 4 again looks terrible.
You could argue maybe Serbia or Switzerland. You could.
Switzerland came second in their group, which had Romania, Israel, Belarus, Kosovo, and Andorra in it. They came second to Romania. They won 4, drew 5, and lost 1. My hesitancy with Switzerland, despite the fact they concede a lot of goals, they can scored more than 2 a game, and they're an experienced knockout team. They're a team that's got to knockouts in World Cups and Euros.
Yeah.
And they're not to be taken lightly. I don't want Italy. I really don't fancy that group of England, Ukraine, and Italy. You don't want any of the teams from that.
That's the one team I don't want in that whole pot is Italy. I could see the
one
rest
you
being
really
alright.
don't want. So looking at the playoff teams, so Path A is Poland versus Estonia in the semi-finals, and then Wales against one of Israel, Bosnia. No, it's not. It's not Israel and Bosnia. They're in Path B. It's one of Ukraine, Finland, or Iceland for Wales. And I'd fancy Wales in a one-off game against Finland or Iceland, but I reckon Ukraine would do a job on them in Cardiff this time after the World Cup. They want revenge. I reckon whatever happens, if Ukraine get drawn into that path, I reckon Ukraine go to the Euros in Path A. In fact, do you know what? I reckon Ukraine could go to the Euros no matter what path they're in, A or B.
They drew it Italy. Maybe should have beat them based on some controversy.
Yes, there was some VAR controversy. I'm still standing by the fact I'm not convinced it's a penalty. I'm not convinced it's a penalty you can give in the 95th minute of a crucial crucial qualifying game.
You can argue it shouldn't. If it's a penalty, no matter the time of day, it's a penalty.
Yeah, but I don't think it is. I think he throws himself down theatrically, and there's minimal if any contact. You have to look at it really, really closely to know if there's any contact, and I don't think it's a clear and obvious error.
You're told to go down to get penalties. You don't always get penalties by staying on your feet.
You are, but not like the way Mudryk does.
I've never seen it. So,
wait. I don't think Wales will go through because if Wales and Poland played each other in the Nations League, Poland done the job over Wales twice. Sorry, lads, it's not happening.
I think Poland's issue is just keep Lewandowski quiet and you're sorted.
They've got some other decent players these days, though. And they've got more decent players than Wales, who are playing Kiefer Moore, who isn't even playing for Bournemouth up front.
Yeah, I suppose Wales are pretty
guff. Path B is Israel, Bosnia, and then whichever 2 don't get drawn into the first path. So Finland, Ukraine, or Iceland again. If Ukraine get drawn in there, I think they walk that, to be brutally honest. The rest of them, would you be worried about facing Israel or Bosnia? Israel.
We play Israel like twice a year, so
you just know that Israel are going to get. We're going to get Israel from pot 4 if they get through.
We're used to them. We've played them every year since.
We have, but what's our record like against them?
It's not like 50%.
It's not amazing, but it's not bad either. And then Path C, we've kind of mentioned already: Georgia, Luxembourg, Greece, Kazakhstan. I don't want it to be Greece. It'd be good to see a country get to the first Euros.
Yeah. But I would take anybody but Georgia because played them, beat them, got the t-shirt.
Played them, beat them once, drew with them once, got the t-shirt.
Unbeaten.
What is the best you think Scotland can hope to achieve? What do you think Scotland should be going to achieve at the Euros?
I would say just getting through the groups.
The groups?
A knockout stage, that's all I want.
See, I would go with play well.
I did that last time.
Did we?
Small parts.
I want, but playing well will get you through because you can be one of the best third place teams. If you're solid and win a game, there's a chance you'll go through.
I think defensively we're sound. It's just scoring goals are not as sound out.
Exactly. So win a game and then you're likely to get through in some form.
Well, last time we were pot 4, I think, so that's probably why. We had a harder group.
Last time the group we had was horrendous. And we will find out soon, and we will talk about Scotland's group in detail when we know exactly who it is.
Just do all the groups.
Yes, we could do all the groups. Is there any dark horse that stands out to you from any of these pots?
Well, I said Hungary from earlier on.
I think Hungary's a good shout, to be honest.
Hungary or probably Romania or I don't know. They're the 2 I would say, Hungary and Romania. More so Hungary.
Literally,
Any of pot 2, I would say, but
yeah, literally the dark horses are anyone from pot 2 because every single one of them, apart from who is it? Serbia? Nope.
they're pot 4.
Yeah. It's every single one apart from one, which I'm trying to work out was a group winner. I think it's Austria.
Yes.
Yes, it is. So every single one of them apart from Austria was a group winner. And Austria came second to Belgium by a point.
And they're all quite small nations in regards to footballing.
They're all the type of team that would be a massive banana skin for Scotland, but bigger teams would roll over.
Yeah.
The one that I'd really want, the one that I really don't want is Portugal.
Sorry, they're pot 1.
I know, in pot 1, but I know their qualifying group wasn't the best, i.e. they had Luxembourg, Iceland, Bosnia, Liechtenstein, and Slovakia. However, they've scored 36 goals and conceded 2 and won all 10 games.
But it's also next year, Ronaldo and that are a bit more declined.
Yes, but I genuinely think Portugal, then again, they're under Roberto Martinez, aren't they?
He's on a well-known bottle job.
Exactly. So they'll be fighting qualifying and then absolutely collapse. Probably last 16 against, I don't know, Hungary probably. Yeah.
No, just shit the bed and that'll be it.
Yes, it will. Lastly, before we do predictions, Queen of the South Football Club have gone viral.
Finally.
It certainly took us
playing too much of this.
How long? Yes, playing far too much of the PlayStation.
Even to all hours. Horrible little boys.
Getting to all hours, not having their ice baths. It's just a bit deranged from Marvin Bartley, is it not?
It's sickening that we're now a joke. It pains
me. You seen the performance on Saturday?
Unfortunately. So
was it because the players were playing too much PlayStation and not taking their ice bath, or was it because they're terrible?
Well, up till about we scored. I don't know when it was, but we scored. It was good performance till that, and these flicks and tricks and these football in general. Then they scored, and it was Heats doing concentration out the window. So yeah,
I think that summarises it quite accurately, to be honest.
And you could argue the gaming is concentration linked. I don't know.
But it should improve their concentration, surely.
Well, they're focusing on the wee screens for 8 hours a day, so that's not helping them out.
No, it's not. It's important to remember as well that they are professional footballers and they are allowed some downtime to do what they like, but maybe not that much.
Maybe not 8 hours, because that's quite a lot.
Yes, that's a full-time job.
And you factor in their training as well, that's quite a lot.
Yeah. Let us know your thoughts. Have you watched it? Are the Queen of the South banter ears in full swing? Comments below. The real question is, has Bartley lost the dressing room?
Well, somebody made a good point that when he subbed somebody, I think it was Connolly, he just walked right by him, never shook his hand or gave him a cuddle or anything. So maybe he's lost him already. He was threw him under the bus in the interview.
When a manager does an interview like that, that's the kind of death knell, isn't it? That's when you go, right, he's probably gone now. He's still not gone. And I think I've said, I can't remember if I said it on the podcast before or not. If the Queen's board want to back him in January and say we back him to get some players in January and us to kick on up the league, because it's the season's probably gone, but the winning the league's definitely gone. Playoffs are still doable. If they want to back their man, they need to come out and say that publicly. We can't have the constant silence.
Oh, he's in his holidays till next month in Australia.
So nothing's going to happen until then.
But we've got Dundee United this Saturday. And
yes, we shall. Are you going?
I am going. And I'm going to say, if we win, I will buy a football top of anybody's choice.
My choice.
Your choice, comments choice, whatever.
Yeah, England.
Could do better. I'll leave it with you.
Or just, do you want the Dundee United top, the nice green one from this year? I feel that's more of a, I'd pick that for Robert if he made me pick.
I'll let you think about it. You can think of Queen's.
Why don't if Queen's beat Dundee United, Robert buys himself the green Dundee United top?
That'll do me. It means I'd have to buy it.
Yes. But Robert will buy it for himself, and then you have to buy another one of
the comments. Choice.
What top would you like Kyle to wear?
If
Why
Queens
is it
beat
the
Dundee,
Newcastle Saudi one?
I'll do anything within reason, not spending £100.
Air?
Depends how much it is. We could do that. We say here.
Annan? No, they're a respectable team these days.
Yeah, they're just in the same league as us. We'll work out.
Let us know in the comments below. But let's move on now to the predictions. Robert's choice this week, even though he's not here, he's managed to be well enough to pick some games. I reckon that's well enough to appear in the podcast, don't you, Kyle?
No comment.
Scottish Cup this weekend. There's a couple of Scottish Cup games on the usual wildcards in there as well. Last week was a pretty poor show for me. I only got 1 point. Robert got 3 and Kyle got 2. That takes the total scores to 38 for me, 36 for Robert, and 33 for Kyle, who is still lagging behind. As I said, Robert's turn this week. First game in the Premiership is Dundee versus Hibs. Dundee are 5th in the Premiership after an impressive pre-break 4-0 win against St Mirren. Hibs are unbeaten in 4, but 3 of those are draws. They had a 1-0 win at Easter Road against Kilmarnock last time out. I'm going for the Dens Park boys.
I'm going to say Dundee also.
Yes, I think they've got a good record at home, and I expect them to do well in this game. Robert has picked a draw. Other game in the Premiership this week, we've got 2. It's Hearts versus St Johnstone. Hearts sit 4th with after 2 league wins on the bounce. Craig Levein, on the other hand, faces his old club and has 4 out of 6 points for St Johnstone so far. 1 against Motherwell and 3 against Ross County. Neither of those being particularly good.
No, I think it's got Hearts all over it.
I think it's got Hearts all over it too. Robert doesn't. Robert has picked St Johnstone to win at Tynecastle. That'll come back to bite us.
Maybe. I hope not.
Scottish Cup, all championship tie, Partick Thistle versus Queen's Park. Thistle sitting 3rd in the championship, 5 points behind Wraith, but 5 ahead of Airdrie. They are 10 points ahead of their opponents, who are in 8th and have not won in 9 in all competitions. Their last win was against Bala in the Challenge Cup. After winning, Queen's Park won their first 3 games of the league season. They have not won in the 10 games since then.
That is Bartley-esque form.
No, it's not, because they started by winning some games.
I suppose, yeah. So does Queens. Behave yourself.
So I'm going for Partick for this one. So is Robert.
I think it's a three-course Partick.
That's me and Kyle picked home wins for every single game so far. Will continue for this one for Trent versus Forfar. The home side are 5th in the Lone League, but their games in hand could propel them to 2nd. They concede less than 1 a game and are unbeaten in 9 in the league. Forfar have only won 2 games in League 2. They've drawn 6 and lost 5. They sit 8th. It's another home one for me. I'm going for Trent.
So is
Robert.
I'm saying draw.
Kyle's going for a draw. I believe the Scottish Cup ties will be finished on the day this weekend, so that would mean that was going to extra time.
Hope so.
2 wildcards this weekend. Premier League, Man City versus Liverpool. It's a tasty lunchtime kick-off. The top 2 face off. Liverpool have only lost once this season, thanks to VAR against Spurs. Man City have lost twice. Liverpool have better form in the last 5 games by a point and have a better defensive record. Robert's gone for Manchester City. I can probably fill Kyle's in because he's got his Liverpool tinted specs on.
Yes, away win for me.
I'm going for a draw. These big games frequently fail to deliver. Though Man City's last big game against Chelsea did finish a draw.
For a piece.
Yes. The MLS is the location for our last game, as it has been far too often recently. This is the conference semi-finals, which are also known as the quarter-finals. There's no best of 3 shites. I've wrote that in my notes, as there was in the last round. This was 2nd versus 3rd in the Eastern Conference in the regular season. No, I don't understand those words either. It's Orlando versus Columbus. They played twice in the normal season. There was a 1 draw and an Orlando win. I think there'll be another Orlando win. As does Robert.
I'm just going to say a draw for shits and giggles.
You're going to say some extra time fun again. So that's the end of predictions this week. I have just looked at them and noted that I've predicted 5 home wins out of 6. So we'll see how that goes.
I thought it was 6, that worked out.
I picked Man City v Liverpool as a draw.
Oh, did you? Of course you did.
I did. Robert has picked 4 home wins and Kyle's picked 3.
I'm just built different.
Yeah.
No one in last place.
Different. Well, I never
Yeah.
said that, you did. And on that, it is time to end for this week.
First
Hopefully
things
Robert is
first.
back very soon. Oh,
We didn't do it last week because we forgot. The
yep, and I
FPL,
just forgot again.
the FPL update
Do
is
we have
upon
to?
us. Yes. What do we do after your third place?
I know I'm not top.
Number 1 is my namesake, Kyle Pagan, leading the way.
Ooh.
Number 2 is fans' favourite, Cyril Brendan Doob.
Who is that? Who is that?
Comment below.
Cyril, identify yourself in the comments or we'll remove you from the league. Not really.
No, well, unless Greg demands it, or if I'm second place, then maybe. Third is, already been said, it's Gregory.
Hello.
I am in 8th place, so I'm climbing.
Oh, you're climbing. Unlike
Former-
the predictions.
Former guest Matthew is 9th, just below me. Other guest Ash is in 12th.
Where's Robert? Because you're going down this league and he's not arrived yet.
16th place.
Out
Third
of how many
bottom,
people?
18.
That's very poor. That's relegation form, that.
Third bottom.
We'll have to do a 3 pints championship league in the fantasy for next year for Robert because he's going to be relegated.
Need more than 18 people. That's the Bundesliga. Never mind.
Yeah, that would be the playoff in the Bundesliga, actually, so it's not too bad. On that, having almost ended once before, it is time to end this time. Thank you, Kyle, for joining me. Robert, unfortunately, still couldn't, so get well,
It's
Robert.
Back next week, don't worry.
Hopefully he's back next week. If not, we might replace him with the Rangers mascot or something like that.
Anybody?
Yeah,
Cool.
anybody. If Robert can't make next week and you want to come on the podcast, please comment down below and we'll consider your application thoroughly.
A lot of comments this week.
Yeah, get that comment section filled.
Get it booming.
Yeah, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, though. I have seen that most of our regular viewers are subscribers, so well done to you for that. Thank you very much again, Kyle, and we will see you soon.
Speed.